When I was trying to figure out my own faith, I transitioned away from fundamentalist Christianity and I joined a United Methodist church. And I liked it. Quickly, I started volunteering in their Sunday school. I had fun exploring Bible stories and lessons with the kids. They were around 2nd to 4th grade. That's my favorite age. And then one day, there was a lesson about the tabernacle, the place where in the Hebrew Bible, God literally lived. The lesson was about how now, since Jesus had come and died for our sins, God gets to live in our hearts and not in a building. But we had to do certain things for God to come and live in our heart. And I couldn't teach this to the children. I didn't tell the Sunday school director, but I totally made the lesson a universalist one. I didn't even know that word yet, about how God is so loving that God lives in all of our hearts, no matter what. And then we built a tent in the classroom and we pretended that we were God living in everyone's hearts. After that, I stopped teaching Sunday school, and I stopped being a Methodist. If I had just sat in the sanctuary Sunday after Sunday, I would have happily stayed in that church and that faith, hearing reassuring sermons, letting them sort of wash past me. But it was the act of needing to convey these beliefs to children that made me examine my own faith. Did I believe it enough to hear it every Sunday? Sure. Did I believe it enough to teach impressionable young minds and hearts? And so I became a Unitarian Universalist, and eventually a religious educator, and then a minister to all ages.
Growing up Unitarian Universalist like I did makes you and breaks you in all kinds of wild and wonderful ways. You're given the opportunity to make your own pathway in life and theology and community, loved by a congregation that is enormously diverse, but unified in its care for you. Simultaneously blessed and cursed to always be the one in your group of friends who knows the most about lifespan human sexuality. It's a real rite of passage. If you grow up Unitarian Universalist and go through our whole lives, lifespan human sexuality curriculum, right, to be the one who your friends come to because you have had the most, genuinely, first class, comprehensive human sexuality education available anywhere. We offer it here. And even in the age of the internet, people will still come to you to find things out. And our religious exploration program that I am so grateful we all get to be here to celebrate today, our religious exploration program, it does a lot of things, and there's a lot of ways to describe it, but the distilled version that I think of is that we're here to grow Unitarian Universalists. Right? We're here to grow people. We're here to grow kids that you all aren't getting to see, but I just invite you to turn around and look out those windows. Which is, if your neck isn't turning, it's children playing with, they're just having a great time. I've been enjoying that alongside the rest of the service too, so I thought you all should also enjoy that. It's a parachute. They're playing parachute. It's amazing. The parachute, I feel like the parachute is one of those toys that will never die. We're always going to camp it. And when you grow up, the gift that you all are able to give the children and the youth in our congregation is one that I don't want you to underestimate, and I don't want you to think that you don't have a role in it. That in our world today, we know that you cannot put a price tag on what it is like to grow up knowing that you are loved and whole and good. And that there's an entire community, an entire religious community dedicated to that idea. Hundreds of adults who are here for you. here to love you, here to tell you the same thing your parents told you, but slightly differently. And so it really lands for you. Not that I ever thought that all the other adults at church knew what they were talking about when my mother didn't. Not me. And not any of you, surely. But that in our world today, I don't want us to underestimate both the value and the difficulty of doing that, right? Both the necessity and the difficulty of creating a community where every child, every youth knows that they are whole and good and loved, and that is what our religious exploration program is about. And sometimes we think about it as being like we want to learn things, we want to be good people, but the core of it is that, and that maybe even more than growing those Unitarian Universalists, is that the work of our religious exploration program is for us to grow alongside those Unitarian Universalists. The funny thing about a living tradition is that we expect our young people not only to learn our traditions and values and songs and history, we expect them to leave their imprint, not only on this congregation, but on the wider practice of Unitarian Universalism. And you might think that's a pretty tall order. And it is. But it's our tall order too. And I know that this congregation is ready to show up for them and with them, and not just grow them into the amazing young people they will become, but to grow ourselves alongside them. I think we can show up ready to learn.